Well, hi there, everybody. Welcome back. We have another 1908 game for you here today. The Browns are going to go over to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Athletics. The Athletics are the big story so far of 1908, 19-12 their record, bringing up the spirit of 1905. I suppose they also weren't too bad in 1906, were they? So far, the Athletics are tied with Cleveland for first place. Now, we watched Cleveland 2 days ago, and so we'll see how the Athletics do here against the Browns. The Browns, of course, are about a game out. Hope Ferris leads this one off for St. Louis, rolls a 33 for a 0, and then a 26 for a 6. That'll be a double straight off the bat off of Rube Vickers. Vickers is 6-2 with his record 1.36 the ERA, but couldn't do very much about that. Here comes Jimmy Williams now. Runner on at second base, nobody out. Williams rolls an 11 for a 0, and his next roll is a 41 for an 11. That's a single, and that will get Ferris thrown out at home. Very good play by Hartzell. Throws down and throws him out, throwing to Powers. Williams takes second on the throws. There's one away, no score. George Stone now rolls a 32 for a 26. Ground ball to second. Eddie Collins with that on to first for the out. 2 away, and here's Jim Stevens. Stevens rolls an 11 for a 0. And then a 26 for a 7. That'll be a single to left, and so there's the first run as Stevens gets the base hit. 3 hits now for the Browns in the top of the first. It's 1-0 St. Louis, and here's Roy Hartzell. Hartzell hitting .270. And he rolls a 22 for a 7. That'll be a single, sending Stevens over to third, and that'll bring up Danny Hoffman, who's hitting .202. So a lot of hitting here early on against Rube Vickers. Vickers has a .192 batted against average, but somebody forgot to tell St. Louis. The rule for Hoffman's a 53 for a 17, changed to 19, and that's going to be an error on the third baseman Collins as he misplays that one. Runner scores, and Hartzell goes all the way to third base. It's 2-0 now, St. Louis. Tom Jones up now, hitting .210. He rolls a 25 for an 8, and that'll be a single to right, and that'll score 1 and send Hoffman over to third. 3-0 now, and here's Bobby Wallace. How long do you give Rube Vickers is the question. Wallace rolls a 54 for a 45. There is a little E roll. It's a 31 just out of the range. It's a fly ball to right field. Murphy has that for the out, and we go to the bottom of the first inning. Eddie Collins will lead this off here for the Athletics, down 3-0 already. Collins rolls a 41 for a 28, and that will be a ground ball over to short, and Wallace has that, throws to first for the out. 1 away. Harry Davis next. Davis rolls a 13 for a 14. He will take his base on balls, and that will bring up Rube Oldring. Runner on at first base. Davis does have a little bit of speed. We will send him. Rolls a 52 for a 27. Hit and run play, so no double play. It's a ground ball over to Ferris, and Davis is there at second. Ferris throws to first. 2 away, and here's Topsy Hartzell. Topsy rolls a 13 for a 14 and takes his base on a walk. So 2 walks given up by Jack Powell. Powell's given up 23 this season in 72 innings pitched. He's uncharacteristically wild, at least so far in this game. And here's Danny Murphy. Murphy rolls a 15 for an 11. That's a single that will score 1, send Hartzell to third, and then Murphy will steal second with the next batter, Simon Nichols, up there. So runners now on second and third with 2 outs. Philadelphia is on the board, and it's a 3-1 ball game, and this is going to be one of those, isn't it? Nichols comes up. He rolls a 44 for an 8. That's going to be a fly ball over to center field. Hoffman's got that for the out, and we go to the top of the second. 3-1 Browns. Here comes Jack Powell to lead off the top of the second inning. He rolls a 63 for a 29. Comebacker to Vickers, who throws to first. 1 away. Hope Ferris up next. He rolls a 61 for a 30. Fly ball left field. Hartzell's got it. 2 away. Will be Jimmy Williams next. Williams rolls a 32 for a 26. Ground ball over to Eddie Collins. The second baseman throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the second. It's Mike Powers up here for the Athletics. Down 3-1. Powers rolls a 61 for a 32. Fly ball to right field. Hartzell's got that for the out. 1 away, and here comes Jimmy Collins. Jimmy rolls a 63 for a 30. Fly ball left field. Stone has that. 2 gone, and here's Rube Vickers. He rolls a 64 for a 13 and strikes out, and we go to the top of the third inning. So Philadelphia only has managed 1 hit in this game so far, and yet they are on the board. 3-1 is not an insurmountable lead. Here is George Stone to lead this off for the Browns, hitting .262. He's 0 for 1 today. He rolls a 13 for a 14 and will take his base. First walk given up by Rube Vickers, and here comes Jim Stevens. Stevens rolls a 33 for a 7. That's a single over to right field. Stone goes to third, and Stevens, of course, is on at first. And now the question is, should we run? We probably shouldn't with the catcher. He's pretty slow. Roy Hartzell up now. Infield is back, and Roy rolls a 15 for an 11. That's a single that will score a run and send Stevens up to second. It's 4-1. Here comes Danny Hoffman. Danny rolls a 13 for a 14, and Vickers has loaded the bases. And you really have to start asking yourself, if you're Connie Mack, I mean, do we let this guy stay in? Do we go to the bullpen right away? I think we'll let him stay in for one batter and see if we're courting disaster or not. There it is. Rolls a 15 for an 11. That'll score 2, send Hoffman to third, and Jones then steals second, and it's a 6-1 game. Vickers just didn't have it today. And so let's see what we can do. Let's see who we can bring in. Nick Carter, Harry Krause. I think it's going to be Carter that we're going to bring in. So let's take a look and see what Nick Carter is all about. He's pitched 1 inning so far. He'll do a little bit more than that here. No no runs given up, no hits given up, no nothing. So we don't know too much about Nick. And Bobby Wallace greets him with a 66 for a 0, and then a 51 for a 6. And the roll is a 51 out of the range. That'll be a double for Wallace, and that scores 2, and that makes this an 8-1 lead now for the Browns. They've scored 5 in this inning. I came into this game talking about the Athletics and how they're kind of the surprise story here for us in the American League, and it turns out the Browns have wound up dominating this one so far. Here comes Jack Powell. There's nobody out in the top of the third, and there are 5 runs across already. Powell rolls a 43 for a 29. That's a little ground ball to Davis, and he hits Carter covering the bag. Wallace moves to third. 1 away. Hope Ferris rolls a 24 for a 13. There's a strikeout. Now there's 2 away, and here's Jimmy Williams. Williams rolls a 64 for a 29. Comebacker to Carter, who throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the third. Carter was involved in all 3 of those putouts. I guess you have to do it yourself sometimes. Here's Eddie Collins. Collins rolls a 36 for a 33. It's a pop-up over to the right side, and Williams has that one for the out. 1 away. Harry Davis now rolls a 12 for a 24. It's a ground ball over to short, and it will be Wallace grabbing that and throwing to first, and there's 2 away. Here's Rube Oldring. Rolls an 11 for a 0. His next roll is a 13 for a 6. That'll be a double to right center field, and that'll bring up Topsy Hartzell. So the Athletics finally have their second hit. And it's amazing. They only have 2 hits, 1 run. The Browns have 8 runs on 9 hits. Hartzell rolls a 14 for a 43, and that's a fly ball over to center field. Hoffman's got that for the out, and we go to the top of the 4th. They talk about any given Sunday. Well, here it's any given day. Anything can happen. Here's George Stone. Stone for the Browns rolls a 15 for an 11. That's a base hit, and he's still second afterwards. I tell you, all the rules are turning up St. Louis. Here's Jim Stevens. And he rolls a 31 for a 36, changed to a 39, and that will be an attempt by Stone to steal third that goes awry. Powers with a good throw over to Jimmy Collins, who gets the tag down. 1 away. Stevens now rolls a 55 for an 8, and there's a single, and Carter now is a D. And he's not going to pitch as many innings as I thought. Up next is Roy Hartzell. And the rule is a 45 for a 14, and he's walked. Danny Hoffman now comes up. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Hoffman today 0 for 1. Rolls a 14 for a 43. There is another little E roll. It's a 31 out of the range. Fly ball left field. Hartzell's got that for the out. 2 away, and here's Tom Jones. Rolls a 34 for a 44. Fly ball to center field, and Oldring has that for the out, and we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Danny Murphy here for the Athletics. Murphy rolls a 24 for a 13. There's a strikeout, 1 away. So Jack Powell pitching very, very well. Nichols rolls a 16 for a 28. Ground ball to short, and Wallace has that on to first. 2 away, and here's Mike Powers. Mike rolls a 61 for a 32. Fly ball right field. Hartzell's got that for the out, and we go to the top of the 5th. Still 8-1 Browns. Bobby Wallace rolls a 35 for a 14. There's another walk given up, number 2 given up by Nick Carter, and that'll bring up Jack Powell. Think we should bunt? Huh? Powell rolls an 11 for a 0, and this is going to add insult to injury, and it's a 41 for an 8. It's a base hit for the pitcher, and that'll bring up Hope Ferris. 12 hits now for the Browns, 8-1 the lead, and they're threatening again. Ferris rolls a 23 for a 32. Fly ball right field. Murphy's got that, 1 away. Here's Jimmy Williams, who rolls a 34 for a 44. It's a fly ball to center, and Oldring has that. There's 2 away, and it's George Stone. Stone rolls a 62 for a 12. It's a ground ball over to short. Nichols flips over to Collins for the force out at second, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. Here is Jimmy Collins, the other Collins, to lead this off, trailing 8-1. Rolls a 42 for a 13 and strikes out 1 away. Here comes Nick Carter, who will not hit for himself. We're going to put Jack Coombs into not only to pinch hit, but, well, let me think here. Are we starting him? We are starting him, so we're not going to have him start. All right, I had to cheat a little bit on that one. We're not going to throw a whole bunch of innings onto Coombs, but he will pinch hit. His rolls a 15 for a 10. There it is. And it's a single to center field, and that'll bring up Eddie Collins. So hit number 3 for the Athletics, and this one comes from the pinch hitter, who happens to be a pitcher. Collins now with the runner on at first. He rolls a 32 for a 26 as a ground ball over to second, and Williams fields that, flips over to Wallace for the force. Now Collins is the runner at first, 2 away, and here's Harry Davis. Davis rolls a 13 for a 14. That'll be a ball. And a 55 for an 8. It's a ground ball over to third baseman Ferris, who throws to first, and that does that. Just taking a look here, trying to think what we could do. Wondering if, well, let's see how these guys are hitting. We kind of want to get Coombs in this game. Yeah, he's an outfielder when he's not a pitcher. So what we're going to do is we're going to have him take the place, I think, of, let's see here. We're going to have him take the place of Oldring. And then in Oldring's place, let's see if we have a first baseman. Well, you have bad hitting catcher or bad hitting catcher, so we'll go with this one. And see, I should have changed his position at the same time. It's all right. And then here we will stick the pitcher spot. So Davis will not be the pitcher. We're going to put, Burton Maxwell in. And see, undisplay the card, and then you set him up as the pitcher. There you go. So the interface is not good. I've said it before, say it again. Cyrus, I hope you're watching this. Change the interface, please. Jim Stevens leads off the top of the 6th. And he rolls a 14 for a 43. That's going to be a walk by Burt Maxwell, who has those WW. So there's another runner on at first for the Browns. Here's Roy Hartzell. He rolls a 35 for a 9. There's a single. Runners on at first and second now, and up comes Danny Hoffman. Nobody out. And the roll is 35 for a 40. Little ground ball past the pitcher, and it's going to be the second baseman Collins fielding that, throwing to first. Runners move up 1 away. Here's Tom Jones. Jones rolls a 45 for a 14. Is another walk by Maxwell. He's walked 2 already, and that loads him up for Bobby Wallace. 1 away, top of the 6th. Wallace rolls a 45 for a 14, and there's a walk, and that makes this a 9-1 game. Here's Jack Powell now. He rolls a 41 for a 28. That's a ground ball over to short. Nichols flips that one over to Collins for 1. They try to get the double play, but nothing's doing, and another run scores. It's now 10-1 Browns. Up comes Hope Ferris. Ferris rolls a 22 for a 7. That's a single that will score 1, and then the throw from Hartzell goes into Collins to force the runner moving to third, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, but it's now 11-1 Browns. I don't think this is the first time the Browns have had their bats explode. I have to go back and look and make sure there was a Browns game. Ossie Strecken goes to your bottom of the 6th. Rolls a 62 for a 12. There is a little E roll. It's an 11, so that's going to be an error here on the first baseman, Jones, and who's kind of fallen asleep. And so Aussie, who's in that unfamiliar position at first base, reaches on an error his first at bat. Here comes Topsy Hartzell. Topsy rolls a 61 for a 40, changed to 38. That's going to be a stolen base for the catcher, Schreckenghost. Man, that never happens. Next roll is a 34 for a 44, fly ball to center field, and Hoffman's got that for the out, 1 away. Danny Murphy up next. He rolls a 61 for a 40, changed to 38. That's going to be a single between third and short. That's an infield hit. Schreckenghost has to hold at second. Murphy is safe on the hit. Hit number 4 for the Athletics, and here comes Simon Nichols. 11-1 game. Nichols rolls a 23 for a 32. Fly ball to right field. Routine for Hartzell. 2 away. And here comes Mike Powers. Mike rolls a 32 for a 26. It's a pop-up over to second base. Williams has that, and we go to the top of the 7th. Jimmy Williams, who just made that catch, leads this one off. He rolls a 64 for a 29. Comebacker to Maxwell, who throws to first. 1 away. Maxwell's ERA now only 12.50. George Stone rolls a 56 for a 32. Fly ball to right field, and Murphy's got that. 2 away. Trying to get that ERA down to single digits. Here's Jim Stevens. He rolls a 13 for a 38, changed to a 36. Surprised it's not a walk, but it's not. Next rolls a 46 for a 27, and it's a ground ball to Jimmy Collins, who throws to first. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Jimmy Collins is up there, and he rolls a 63 for a 30, fly ball to left field, and there's 1 away. Jack Coombs now comes up. He rolls a 13 for a 40, changed to a 37. That'll be a strike. Next roll is a 42 for a 13, and so Coombs strikes out. 2 away, and here is Eddie Collins. Collins rolls a 12 for a 24, ground ball to short. Wallace throws to first. We go to the top of the 8th. Still 11-1 Browns, and it'll be Roy Hartzell to lead this off. Rolls a 21 for a 30, fly ball left field, and it's Hartzell who has that 1 away. Danny Hoffman now. And he rolls an 11 for a 0. Then another 11 for a 2, and that'll be a triple to left center field for Hoffman. That brings up Tom Jones. Normally, we would bring Maxwell out pretty quickly, but we're going to leave him in until he gets to hit. Jones rolls a 61 for a 41, changed to a 39. That's a fly ball right field, and that's going to be easily caught by Murphy. The run does score, though, is now 12-1. Up is Bobby Wallace. That ERA is at 11.1. Bobby rolls a 42 for a 23, changed to a 38. It's going to be a walk. That'll bring up Jack Powell. Once again, Jack Powell has his 5th plate appearance. And look at that. He rolls a 15 for an 8. That's another base hit for Powell. 2 for 5 today, and Wallace goes to third. Hope Ferris now. And he rolls a 66 for a 0. So, yeah, Maxwell will come out next inning. Next roll is a 32 for an 11. It's a base hit, scoring 1. Powell goes up to second. Here comes Jimmy Williams. And Jimmy rolls a 54 for a 45. Fly ball to right field. And right fielder Murphy has that for the out. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. And here comes Maxwell and his silver hammer out of the game. And it's going to be Shog Shaughnessy, who's our favorite pinch hitter for the Athletics, coming in to pinch hit once again. See if he can get a 12-run home run. He rolls a 44 for an 8. It's a single, but then he's caught trying to steal. He was trying to get 12 runs on that play. 1 away. Here's Ossie Schreckengost. He rolls a 51 for a 9. Pop-up left side. Ferris has that. There's 2 away, and here's Topsy Hartzell. And Topsy rolls a 26 for a 27. It's a ground ball over to Hope Ferris, who throws to first for the out, and there's time for a new pitcher. And so, yeah, who are we going to put in is the question. Probably Harry Krause. Yeah, it's probably going to be Harry Krause. We could do Chief Bender as well. Let me take a quick look here. Yeah, I think we're going to probably use Krause, though. It's one of those... oh, shoot, this thing's doing this again. Hold on for a sec. All right, I think I got that fixed. You know, Chief Bender presents kind of a problem because he doesn't quite fit into the pitching rotation that I want to use with this team. He did start a lot more than he relieved, but I'm not quite sure where to use him, right? Maybe when we get into double headers, we'll start using him, but we have a little ways to go. George Stone here to face Harry Krause. Krause has thrown 2 innings, hasn't given up anything, and the first roll is a 66 for a 0, so he's going to give something up here. Next is a 53 for a 6. That'll be a double to right center, and that'll bring up Jim Stevens. Hit number 18 for the Browns. Stevens rolls a 26 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left. Hartzell's got that for the out. 1 away. Here's Roy Hartzell now. 3 for 4. Good game for him so far. He rolls a 34 for a 44. Fly ball to center field. And Coombs has that for the out. Stone moves to third. I'm not sure why. 2 away, and here's Danny Hoffman. He rolls a 46 for a 29. Comebacker over to the pitcher, and Krause throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. Danny Murphy will lead this off. He rolls a 41 for a 28. Ground ball to short. Wallace throws to first. There's 1 away. Simon Nichols now. He rolls a 12 for a 25. There is a little E-roll. It's a 25. Ground ball over to second, and Williams throws to first. 2 away. Here's Mike Powers. And his rule is a 24 for a 13. There's a strikeout, and there's your ball game. Browns won this one 13-1. Not exactly the most exciting game of all time, but it sure was entertaining. 13 runs, 18 hits for the Browns, 1 run on 5 hits for the Athletics, and it's all about Jack Powell, who pitched an incredible game. And so much for the Athletics trying to steal their way into first place. This is going to be a difficult American League to win. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.